Hi there, in this video I'm going to show you how to set a quiz on Carousel. It's an incredibly easy process, but you do need to make sure that you've got your question banks and your class list set up already. If you haven't done those, you're not sure how to do them, then there will be other videos linked in the description to this one, so please make sure you go to those first. Okay, so this is my dashboard, and as you can see, I've got question banks, like I said we need, and I've got classes over here, like I said we need as well. So all I do in order to set a quiz is I go up here to where it says Create New. And I want to make a title, so let's call it the science quiz. I put a deadline, let's say next week. I choose a question bank, and for this one, let's say I want to use the John Catt Biology Knowledge Quiz. And then I'm going to choose some topics. So I think I'm going to go for cell division, and I'm going to go for genetics. I can then choose the number of questions I had. So let's say I want to go for 15. I can open up this select questions option here, and that gives me all the questions from those two topics, so cell division and genetics. Now if I want, I can choose them all myself, or if I want, I can get the program to choose me some random ones, and I can review those and uncheck and tick them. And let's say I want to add another one. Oh, I think I'd actually quite like to have this question as well. So here I've now done too many, but I can just increase the number of questions I've got in the top right hand corner. I'm hoping my video screen doesn't cover that, but if you look in the top right hand corner, that way, whichever way it is in your video, right, that way is the top right hand corner. You can just add another one to make that 16. I can now confirm the selection, and you can now see it says 16. I've then got a few more things that I need to check off. So first, here is the revision mode. So this is whether or not students have access to the flashcards. So before they do the quiz, they have access to flashcards. In this case, I want them to have access to flashcards, so I'll keep that toggled. I can then choose whether they revise topics or revise questions. And what that means is that if it's revised topics, in their flashcards, they'll have every single question here, even the ones that I haven't ticked. Whereas if I choose revise questions, the only flashcards they'll have are the ones that have been ticked. And these ones, like this one, in what arrangement do we usually find chromosomes, they won't see that. As a basic rule of thumb, it sort of depends on your class, whether you want to do revised topics, revised questions. Revising the topics makes it bigger and harder. Revising questions makes it smaller and more easy. So you just need to kind of fine tune that to your class. You also have in advanced options, you have number of quiz attempts. So 2 means they get 1 chance to do the quiz, and then they can do a retake if they like, but you can always increase that, or you can always decrease that. So no, they only get 1 shot at the quiz. And then finally is questions in sequential order. So Carousel automatically shuffles the questions. So if we look here again, so it won't ask the students what are genes first, and then how many chromosomes, and then what happens to the cell before it divides. So it shuffles them automatically. That's because it's generally like a bit better for memory, because otherwise students just like learn them in order, and then as soon as they're out of order, they haven't got a clue what to do. So the idea is to make sure they don't memorize them in order like that. But if you want, you can toggle that and say that you want it in sequential order. It's completely up to you as a teacher. I'm going to turn that off. I then assign it, and I need to choose a class to attach it to. So let's say I want 9x1. And I can see that quiz has now appeared up here. Over here, I've got the what I call meatballs, the 3 dots, where I've got a whole bunch of options. The first option is to create a link. If I just click that, it copies a link to my clipboard, which means I can go into whatever program I use to set the homework. So that might be Satchel 1, it might be some Sims-based programs, it might be Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams, whatever it is. But then you just press right-click paste or Control-V, and it will copy that link, and your students can just click on it, and it'll open the quiz for them. Once they've done it, then I can look at their results. I can mark their responses. So once they've done the quiz and they've self-assessed, I can check whether those answers, whether they've done a good job. I can give them feedback, and this is about looking at the class as a whole and how they performed. I can copy the quiz if I want. I can archive it, which will hide it from my screen, or I can lock it, which means that students can no longer access it. As ever, there are plenty of other videos to help you. If there's more stuff that you want to know, we've got plenty of articles as well. That's all linked in the description underneath this video. And please, if you do have any questions, be in touch. Otherwise, thank you for listening.